We're live, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
And here now the news.
Wait, I have to shot of people in a mask gathering outside. How you doing, folks? Welcome to the imho.love show. I'm Lou Angel Wolf. Mike Merberg right next to me here. How are you, brother?
I'm doing good, Lou. Yourself?
I'm good. We're gonna... the title of tonight's show is The Underside of Rocks, but it has a happy ending. And it's the 2nd of September. We've been going through this pandemic fiasco chain of events every day, every media blitz, every little thing that's been putting pressure on us as a society. We're different than we were 6-7 months ago. We're not the same folks. A lot of us have really spent some time on the introspection of yourself and sorted out what's real for you, what's I think we've done a lot of cleanup work on the inside, don't you, Mike?
Yeah, I've left my garbage all over the place.
Well, yeah, it's good to get rid of your garbage.
Yeah, I was just thinking the underside of rocks.
Yes.
Let's take us to the magnosphere here.
Okay.
The moon is a rock.
Yes, it is.
Right. The Earth is a rock.
It is.
Yeah. So what's underneath us?
Yeah, I really do wonder.
Yeah, that's why we're destined to explore.
Well, we continue exploring, and what has happened over the last several months here, the information that is available to people anymore is just absolutely astounding. And if you want to see what you're not supposed to see, is the constant censoring on social media platforms.
Yeah, and it's weird. It's great how they do it. You post something, and then they'll say, fact check or false, and then you find out that what you screwed up was using your objective pronoun.
Right. Right. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
That's how bad it's gotten. It's
yeah.
Like they'll take like 3% of whatever it is and say nope, the whole thing's and they'll label the whole thing false.
Right. If there's one little thing out of line,
and that's the way they do it.
Well, like I read a headline the other day. It said 8,000 new cases of corona due to Sturgis motorcycle event.
Well, they're talking about beer. That's why it's false news.
Those guys don't drink Corona, dude.
Well, well, the ones on the back do.
That's funny. But and I said, what a bizarre article, and all it was a headline. As you read it, they did this really weird cross section. I said, where did they get that number from? Where'd that? Because this is all a grand manipulation of language and numbers.
Yeah, look what it did for 6 million.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, 6 million. Right.
They read the playbook. Jesus Christ, they read the playbook.
Yeah, actually, yeah, to 1.5. But anyway, so the manipulation numbers, and I'm reading this article, and it's about they took a cross-section of people that had visited. I don't know, did they get their credit card home zip code or something? And then they just made this hypothetical projection on how many people probably maybe could have gotten coronavirus being in those crowds.
Yeah.
So, all it was for the headline to get out. There was no proof behind it.
Right.
There was no... And it happened 2 days after the event.
Once you poison the well,
yes,
it's done.
Yeah. And that's what it is the headlines are just so misleading. And when you go to fact check them, and also Corbett Report did a fantastic piece on who fact checks the fact checkers.
Right.
So
who pays the fact checker?
Well, then there you go. You got to look at their avenues of interest. And, I love it when somebody whips a Snopes on me.
Snopes, yeah.
Yeah. But
I saw where Bill Gates was funding fact checkers.
oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah. You can always expect it, but
Yeah. Well, it's the thing. If you can manipulate the language and manipulate the media, then you will get your message across.
Yeah, you change the meaning of words. Like
Right.
when we were kids growing up, gay meant
Happy, frolicking.
Now it's
cheerful.
who would have thought?
Well,
I mean,
maybe it really makes you feel it.
How about social justice? It takes social and justice, and they're both pretty good things, but you put them together, and this is what you get.
Social justice. It's
Yeah.
that's a big blurry word.
Yeah, that's newspeak. That's
Yeah.
newspeak. Orwell talked about it.
Well, what's happening is the lesser known voices are being heard now. There's an amplifier for them. There's people with a political agenda to get all this information out. And there's always been that, I mean, I was a liberal for many, many years. And I can tell you, I've been to peaceful protests, and what you're seeing out there, those aren't peaceful protests. We carried signs, we chanted little catchy things. I was actually at Earth Day 1990 in Washington, D.C. with Tom Rhodes, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I'm older than you. I was at the Boston Tea Party. But we stopped with one. We knew it was enough, and then we decided to do our work.
And we just thought, and Rhodes and I were there just to, smoke joints.
Yeah, well, you had to be.
With the
Conservatives
hippie
didn't
chicks.
smoke pot in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, well, I
They
was
did
a
coke,
conservative.
but they didn't smoke.
Right, that was the next league up.
Yeah.
I got to. I looked in the back door, but I didn't like it.
Yeah. Cokeheads they're cokeheads.
Well, yeah, and
The reason they call them cokeheads.
yeah, I had about a year full of bad decisions, but
Yeah.
that was about it.
Yeah.
I had, of course, but to get back around, I was going to say, at the wildest dude that I saw at Earth Day 1990 was this old guy who had a little thing set up, a little ramshackle display, and he had all this handwritten poster board with all these crazy statistics, and his take on the destruction of the ozone layer was the lack of refrigeration maintenance in the Eskimo communities up there so close to the North Pole. The fact that Freon was leaking into their atmosphere that was causing the ozone layer hole in 1990.
Well, and because Eskimos don't live on the South Pole, of course, you would expect that there wouldn't be any ozone problems there. So he had a point. Just one, though.
The South, and I don't mean to laugh at the guy. He could be right, But I was saying that was the most off base guy I saw there.
But only if the world isn't flat.
That's going to be a problem. But and Antarctica is one of the most fascinating things. The fact that there may be, bases and underground cities and all that stuff there.
Yeah, this is going to sound stupid, but if that's Antarctica, does North Pole make it Uncle Arctica?
Uncle Arctica. I think they were on Bewitched. He was on Bewitched, played by Paul Lynde.
Well, got to be careful. That's where Superman hung out. So. Back to reality, folks.
So. Anyway, folks, this is the imho.love show. Lou Angel Wolf, Mike Merberg, imho, in my humble opinion, .love. And what we try to do is just keep everybody, we're going through this with you. We're trying to sort it out day by day. I can tell you, folks, you'll feel better if you turn off that main light in your living room there. Just don't spend as much time with it. Don't watch the regular news. It's all conditioned to keep you scared and muzzled and running through the maze and wary of your fellow citizen. I mentioned on Friday night's show, and thank you everybody for tuning in on a special day. Happy to be back here on Wednesday. But I got to spend some time out in Idaho where I didn't see any muzzling or everybody was kind of free. It was kind of like the world was the way it was. You still had to wear a mask to go into a restaurant, but you took it off as soon as you sat down, which is one of the oddest little... It's almost like Simon Says, with a CDC guideline.
Well, yeah, it's like the government says we have to do this, sorry.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. And everybody's apologetic.
We're not really hypocrites, but we got to make a living.
So, but anyway, so the peaceful protests that we've been watching have not been very peaceful. And really what's happening now is the narrative is sliding away from people that were liberal and left. The fact that no one's taking accountability for destroying these cities. Your average person, be they liberal or be they conservative, they're getting to the point where like, hey, this is bullshit.
Yeah, it's gone from get off my lawn to get off my lawn with that Molotov cocktail or I'm going to shoot you, you bastard.
It's come a few stages, hasn't it?
Really?
Yeah, between keeping a kid's baseball and...
Getting freaky out there.
Yeah, and just as a little side thing, this is part of the AHA thing, I was watching this thing on Tesla the other night about how you can reduce all numbers, and 369 being the most powerful triad of numbers ever, individually and as a group or in a pair. So those three numbers, 3, 6, and 9, literally are the structural numbers of the universe.
That's why I maintained my weight at that for like 30 years. I had no idea. I felt so
you're
good.
In line with Tesla. It's 369. I'm dialed in. This is my frequency. That's funny. But they were mentioning that the way a baseball is stitched, the way the two stitch patterns match, the way they did it, is like the only way that it would work as efficiently as it does. That a pitcher could make the ball do all those things, that it could fly with such velocity. The actual strength and the equation of it actually came down to like a 369 narrative throughout the whole engineering of it.
Yeah.
And just I mean,
baseball is perfect.
It is a perfect thing.
Yeah.
Baseballs are awesome.
Yeah, they're good.
And the way they fly and the way you can make them do tricks and flop around and curve and bend and pop up.
Yeah, baseball is just a wonderful exercise.
What an incredible invention.
Yeah, it's physics.
Yeah, it is. It's a physics lesson in itself.
Yep.
And, Mike and I go over every week some little stuff here and there, and sometimes we sound a little negative, and we don't mean to, but it's hard not to notice everything that's going on, and to maintain a mindset that your government isn't going to do anything to you. I think you have to be a little more aware than that. There's just, historically, if you look back, start anywhere, really. Start in the 30s and 40s when they did live human experiments on men, giving them syphilis and then tracking them throughout their community. Many died from the purposefully given syphilis.
Yeah, and then we had the smallpox in the French and Indian War.
Yeah, what did they put the smallpox in blankets?
Blankets, and they gave the blankets away at the beginning of winter.
Oh,
it's like and then it happens every 10 years. So more recently we had people our age who were sent to the Bikini Islands to clean up the radioactive waste and put it in concrete cisterns, and now they're all dying. They're all falling apart, and the VA is denying benefits, and they're denying that it ever happened. It was like, oh, you were just with the platoon that was there, and you're the only guy that's still alive because everybody else has died of like cancer of the jaw. Stuff like that.
Wow.
They're still denying those claims. So if you trust your government, you're freaking nuts.
There you go. So that's the underlying tone, is you should question all authority. There's nothing wrong with it.
Hey, I'm going to chime in again.
Please.
When my son died during his special forces training, the government lied about that, and I learned about how they lied, and I learned why they lied, and I got them to admit that they did lie. But you know something? They will lie to you about your son's death. They will lie to you about anything. Anything. They're horrible.
Brutal.
It keeps on going. And one of the things I recognize by watching some of the historical docudramas on Netflix, for example, which I find enjoyable, is that power throughout the centuries has been ruthless.
Yes.
And like with the Borgias, it's like, he's screwing this all up. He ends up dead. It's like the Clintons.
Right. Right. Sure.
I mean, nothing's changed since 1500.
Yeah. The bad guys win every once in a while.
Yeah, and they're ruthless. But their empires, they rise and they fall. And the good news is what Lao Tzu teaches us is social institutions all have shelf lives.
Yes.
And you have to be able to accept that.
Social institutions all have shelf lives.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it in a nutshell.
That's very profound.
And you got to be able to go with the flow and rock with the tide, because if your institution is going out the door, there's nothing you can do to save it. It's just done. And that's where we are right now. We have institutions.
Well, I will say, in the past, there have been times where I feigned away from patriotism.
The last vestige of the scoundrel.
But I will say, in these uncertain times, I'm more with the Patriots than I'm not.
Yeah. They got it right.
It's a, I still every once in a while, if the mood hits me, we're singing the Star Spangled Banner, my chin will shake a little bit. There's something about that. It's that power of unity, and we're trying to be manipulated on a global level. Okay, there's people from Europe and Russia and India and China, and they're all trying to massage our American situation here. The show comes to you from the west coast of Florida, and we're in a situation now where everybody's kind of going back to work, and there's a lot of uncertainty still. You have to wear a mask into a restaurant. You're supposed to wear a mask most of the time.
There was a government official that came out. I think it was in Hawaii. She said you should be wearing a mask when you're making love.
What?
Yeah. And my only recommendation is, lady, you need more than a mask. I want a bag. I learned this week what the English meaning of a two-bagger is.
An English meaning of a two-bagger?
Two-bagger, yeah.
What's that?
Yeah. Well, one bagger is when the other party is so ugly you got to use one bag, and a two-bagger is the other party's so ugly you got to put a bag over yourself too.
In case her bag falls off. Yeah,
that's horrible, but
it's a little misogynist.
It's funny though. I mean, it's coming out of the 15th century, so
Is that really? Is that how long that is?
Yeah. That's how old that is. Correct back then.
You'd have been a court jester.
We have lost our sense of humor.
Yeah, it's true. Humor was the first thing to go.
Yeah, when the left took over. They don't laugh at
They don't, yeah.
No, I know.
The only thing they laugh at is the misfortune of the right.
Yeah.
That's all they laugh at.
Yeah. I wonder what their sex faces are like. That's a funny thought.
We'll get back around to that.
Those on the left, please send us your best sex faces.
So that's what we need.
Show them off.
Yeah, we'll get this channel shut down sooner or later. But the thing that Mike and I just we're not pointing blazing fingers at everybody, and this is information that you can look for yourself, and it's not hard. And just know, okay, that there automatically is on your basic Google search. There's a there'll be the first page will be the answers they want you to see.
Right.
Okay. The answer you're probably looking for is 3 or 4 pages back.
Yeah.
And and that's the old saying. Where do you hide the body? On the second page of Google.
Right behind ESPN. It just occurred to me what I did was back. This was evidence of the Soupy Sales routine. Back in my day, I was like old enough to watch Soupy Sales during the original airing of Kids. Why don't you go into your parents' bedroom and you find your dad's wallet and take out these things that are these $1 bills and then put an envelope and send them to this address. It was like, that was definitely over the top. That
was funny, though.
It was.
I mean, in the raws, that's really funny.
Horribly funny, but he got reprimanded for that.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show you they were around for Soupy Sales.
Yes, another round of Soupy Sales, ladies and gentlemen. I actually got to open for him in the late 80s at Ron Bennington's comedy scene.
Cool.
He was a wonderful man. He was very funny and very cordial. It was an amazing show.
Yeah.
Amazing show.
I imagine it was. Soupy was great.
He was a really good guy.
He was a comedic child's, he's as close to God as you got.
Yeah, absolutely, sure. And so what we're trying to blend some humor in with this frame of mind that's kind of coming around. If you look on my Facebook page today, there's a possible court case, or is a court case in England for a guy that was killed back on 9/11 in Building 7. Which is everybody knows about the Twin Towers, but at 5:20 in the afternoon that day, Building 7 imploded into its own footprint.
Without ever being hit.
Without ever being hit by an airplane.
Yeah, and it was the first building ever to have been damaged to the point of destruction by a simple little office fire.
Ever.
Yeah.
And it's not happened since.
And apparently they're I saw flames coming out of a metal garbage container.
Yeah.
God almighty.
Yeah, it's if you look on my page, it's a very, very interesting avenue. And people go, "Oh, geez, Lou, what are you bringing that up for? Don't we got enough to worry about?" What that does is it underlines the narrative that you're dealing with. They're telling you that everything was fine. It was just a rare set of circumstances, and that's why it happened. But it's the only time it ever happened in history, and those people I'm sorry, man, they're lying. And there are, there's definitely, like I said, it's on my front page. And they will do anything to us to move their agenda along.
Collectivist slavery.
Collectivist slavery, which is exactly true, and I'm just going to let you know from a lifetime of observation, and I've been in sales and entertainment my whole life. I can tell you that the fix is in on this show, not this show, that show.
Well, this show too. You never know. You never know who we're going to offend tomorrow.
That's our goal.
It's like I was saying, I saw a post on the internet on Facebook about 180 people dying of the virus, and my only question was like, God Almighty! I mean, what's this guy been doing? Living under a rock or in some Indian reservation where they don't have like Wi-Fi or something?
Yeah,
and I was like, no, it was the Indian reservation. It's like, and
he said there was 100. He was quoting the old 180. I see it all day too, and it's like, have you, and all I can really identify that is that's a TV watcher. That's what they just watch the TV. You got to dig a little deeper, man. You got to dig a little deeper because right down the middle, you're going to get nothing. You're going to get McDonald's cheeseburgers.
Yeah, and don't be afraid. Your head is not going to hurt that much if you do this.
Yeah, and it's something you need to know anyway. And the other thing, what everybody's always questioning the president and everything that he does, he wrote a book several years ago, The Art of the Deal. And if you want to know what some of the things are going on around you, if you read that book, you see a lot of those things coming back around.
It's like the equivalent of Rommel's book on tank warfare that Patton read. You want to understand your enemy.
Yeah, exactly. That's your guy. But we said all that to say this. Yeah, these are interesting and confusing times. There's a lot of people that are depressed, pissed off, unfriending, defriending, this, that, and the other thing. I got friends that are, very left and liberal. I still love them. That's just their opinion. I still love the person. It doesn't matter to me what you think politically, really. And I got friends of mine that are way over the top on the right too, that's a little spooky too. So it's, it's happening to everyone. You're having to reevaluate a lot of stuff going on. I know some friends of mine are troubled about the opinions of their friends, and to both sides. So just know that these harried and low vibrations are meant to keep you off center. This is to hit you right in your core of being, where you begin to not trust, where you begin to develop fear, and what you're looking for is company. You're looking for people to agree with you, which is not unusual. But, like, for instance, the CDC came out last month and said that their COVID-19 only cases were less than 10,000, 9,210, I believe was
Something
the number.
like that,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I posted that because I've said that this is a manipulation of language and numbers since it began.
Right.
Hence, an example of what I was talking about. And then I got people flying up in my face about it. I'm going, wait a minute. How can this not be good news? How can this not be good news that this scourge that we've been fearing all along, come to find out that the amount of Americans that it's taken is minuscule. The other morbidity, God, it's a hard word for me to say. Morbidity.
Yes.
Okay. Was the thing. It sounds like liberty.
Morbidity.
Liberty bibbity.
P. Diddy.
P. Diddy and his liberty bibbity and his comorbidity was out of line. So it's all those other cases, and it was really strange that cancer deaths dropped 40%.
Yeah, cancer was cured during the virus.
There's nothing else.
Nothing going on. Yeah.
And so anyway, like I said, a manipulation of language and numbers, and just know that 87% of all statistics are made up on the spot. Just like that one. But anyway.
With the exception of the 99.99.
Yes.
Which would be your chances of not dying under the...
Yes, of course.
That's a good number. That's like, hey, if somebody's going to tell me that I got a...
I'll take that to Vegas.
I got a 99.99 chance of living tomorrow, I'm taking it. What about this? Don't you understand?
Yeah, and to think that we abandoned our immune systems on the 13th of March, that we just turned into this totally susceptible thing. But anyway.
Yeah, and follow the rules that told us to do absolutely everything there was that we could possibly do to kill ourselves.
Yes, not good. I liked it back when it was just about not being able to get toilet paper.
Yeah. Hey, I just wanted to bring up, what brought to my attention is there's still a very, very real and an awful statistic that 20 veterans still die of suicides each day.
20 veterans.
20 veterans a day. That's almost one an hour. Somebody is blowing their brains out or taking too much painkillers, okay? And the question you have to raise, this has been going on for a long time, is what has the government done to them that will make their suicide rate beyond what society should tolerate?
Sure.
What has the government hasn't helped them into this position. This is a position of despair, and it's terrible because all these men served this country, and they're still dying at their own hands, and nobody's saying anything about it. These lives don't matter. They should. They should matter to everybody because they're black and they're brown and they're yellow and white and every single color there is, and we should be uniting around that. But we ignore it because what the press is doing, what the left is doing, what the right is doing, take your eye off the ball so you don't see what we're doing because we're going to steal you blind.
Exactly. And those guys, I never did any military time, but I know a lot of guys who have, and there's something about them that is a blessing. They're more organized men. They're more, their military service did them something. And they went through an indoctrination when they got there. And a lot of guys did combat. I mean, the whole Afghanistan theater and all that stuff in the Middle East for the last 15 years or however long it's been.
2001.
2001, okay.
19 years.
19 years. Okay. 20 years.
You had brown hair then.
Back when my hair was brown and my teeth was white.
Yeah, we're still,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we watched that whole thing. I actually was, that was an amazing time. And Lord knows how long we've been in the middle. It was in 91. That's when Desert Storm was. I was working with Nick DiPaolo in Kansas City, Missouri. And when we attacked, when Desert Storm started, they canceled the show that night. And everyone was glued to the TV and they were embedded. And then
and they never knew really why we entered.
Right. Well, we find out in later days, but
those who looked.
Yes. Now what they did is they went over there or wherever they went and they risked their life and they put their soul on the line for this country, and then they come back and they see what they were actually fighting for. And it's very, very discouraging. They've not, I know everybody at the VA does their best or whatever. They try, and but the limitations are in place. There's just they're only going to get so much success. And these poor guys are tormented, and these women are tormented over what it is they did and the reality of their life right now. And we need to keep them in our prayers and our meditations. And one of the things that will help cure it, it's a thing to live with, I can't imagine. But there is, during this time, there are a lot of people that are elevating their spirit. They're finding that this is a good time to sort out and get rid of what you don't need anymore. Because this is a time for you to identify yourself in your spirit being. Get big and strong in your spirit being, because this is what's going to carry you through this. Stay away from the blinking light that you know is lying to you, that you know is manipulating you, okay? Spend some time inside yourself. Like I said, I had the most, and I'm a little fresh out of the garden here because I was just out with my brother and we got to hang out for 10 days without obligation to most anything. We got to wander freely, as we always dreamed to do. And it was a nice, refreshing thing. And it actually built me back up spiritually. Some people say, "Oh, Lou, you're getting pretty negative." Well, that's okay. You're not going to recognize the light unless you've seen the darkness. And there's so much born in the darkness that when you finally get a good focus on it, you see that it was trying to work with you the whole time. Just don't stay over there.
And mountains make you humble.
The mountains make you humble. That's exactly true. Boy, you go into these valleys and there's, 5,000-6,000 feet mountains. Mountains.
Yeah, you see the majesty of the Creator all over the place. It's like oldie everywhere you look.
It really is. It's gorgeous, and when you live down in those little basins down there, when you're looking at all that, you have a better perspective on who you are. And I think we lose a little bit of that in Florida because everything here is flat and new.
Yeah, what you have to look up to are buildings that have been created by the hand of man.
Yeah.
It's either that or the cumulus clouds in the middle of the state and the hurricanes that come your way.
That man is making these days too.
Yeah, the green skies, the 120 miles an hour, all that stuff.
Sure, all the chemtrails.
Awesome.
Oh, look at the beautiful cross hatching of the chemtrails.
I know, geez, what kind of clouds are they, Lou? Those are squarulumbatus.
Cumulonimbus were my favorites. We've been seeing them every day. Those are rain clouds.
Yeah.
But so in this time, take the time to spend some time with yourself. Know that you should guard yourself and prepare yourself for things. Things are kind of out of the ordinary right now, and they could get really strange. But I don't know. I don't know enough to tell you, and I don't want to be a panic guy. But I do know the one thing that you'll have now, that you'll have during it, and that you'll have after, is who you are inside and your relationship to the universe, to your creator, to your fellow man, woman, to the earth itself. Find your frequency in these times. I was just thinking back the other day. Really, it is those simple pleasures in your life. Like I got to spend a couple months ago, I got to spend some time with my mom, like almost every day, and just seeing her and visiting with her and talking about her stories from when she was a kid. She has a very vivid imagination or memory of her childhood. She grew up on a farm, and the memories were even more organic.
Yeah, in New York State too, and that stuff's all rotten away. It's the houses are just nothing left of it.
I'm sure.
Sad. It used to be the Empire State. Now it's
the Vampire State.
The Vampires, the welfare state. It's literally.
But and it's those simple things. I was thinking, in the rare occasion in your life when you have sex the night before, which is always fun. Sex, I love sex. I love
the night before what?
Like a romantic interlude in an evening. But the next day is that beautiful kind of
discomfort.
No, it's not a
Sorry. Oh, Jaden.
My post-organic guilt.
Sorry.
And my post-orgasmic guilt. Yeah. Oh, why did I do that? No, not that. Although I know what that feels like. But yeah, when you have a nice little romantic interlude with somebody, and the next day you're just kind of like, I got laid last night. Everything's, yeah, go ahead. Don't worry. Yeah, you're letting people out at traffic lights. Hey, go ahead. Don't worry about me. I'm good. I'm over here.
That's why fighters don't do it.
Yeah, that's true. No sex 2 weeks before the fight.
How you doing, dude? You want to do this?
Man.
It's like,
I'm gonna pretend I'm gonna hit you. Yeah. So it really that makes you frisky, doesn't it? Not having that. And it's those simple things in life, I don't eat a lot of it, but man, like a beautiful piece of chocolate cake or
the chocolate cream. What is it? New York cream
Boston cream pie.
Boston cream pie with huckleberry on top.
Oh,
you got huckleberries while you were out there.
I did. I got huckleberries. Brought back some huckleberry jam.
A lot of people don't understand. They've never had it. They have no idea what to compare them to.
Huckleberries are like premium blueberries.
Yeah, crossed with like a mulberry.
Yeah.
They're just, and they grow naturally.
And they're wonderful, and you can and there's a huge season of them up there in the Northwest. But it's those simple things, okay? And you got to remember the absolute wonder that you are. You're a spirit-filled meat bag riding this speeding rock through the universe. And the sun comes up and the sun goes down and the moon comes out. And it all happens regardless of our political agendas that are happening before us, regardless of our governances, which are all basically a group of rules that a majority of people agreed upon.
And enforced by lying thieves who run the running.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Talk about the thieves. What about up there with in Detroit with the water supply?
The Flint water system.
What's going on with that?
Probably the biggest criminal thing. Not the biggest. I don't mean to use hyperbole, but a huge hijacking of the state's funds, the city's funds, all at the absolute expense of the people in that city. Those people drank rancid water for years, and they continue to. And now their children are having birth defects and illnesses and all this stuff because somebody couldn't be honest enough to fix the problem. They got into a position of manipulation, and they shoved it all in their own pocket, and they let their neighbors suffer. It is not the love of money that is the root of all evil. No, it is not money that is the root of all evil. It is the love of money that is the root of all evil. Greed is...
The lack of all money, that kind of hurts too,
What's that?
The lack of all money. That's the other part of the equation, is the love of money and the lack of money. And those who love it have it, and those who lack it want it. So that's why they get to control them all the time.
There was a city called Lackawanna.
Lackawanna?
Yeah, Lackawanna, New York.
Yeah, I used to have a buddy who used to cut jokes about that. John LaLudis is one of the funniest kids I've ever known. He grew up in one and a half to him. He was what we would call today a racist. He was funny, so funny though.
Yeah, well, there were those.
Yeah, it's a Lackawanna. He used to tell everybody when he got kicked out of class, he'd say, "See you suckers! I'm taking a ride on a Lackawanna Puerto Rican."
Whatever that means.
I know exactly. Totally creative. They couldn't handle them.
We were able to laugh at ourselves and others, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. Our differences made us funny. The Italian comics, the Jewish comics, the black comics, we all talked about our social thing, and the differences are what made it funny. Now, I mean, political correctness is absolutely crushing humor.
Yeah, it is. Can't laugh at ourselves.
And luckily, I'm jovial enough that my show's kind of down the road far enough to where I'm not pissing anybody off. But you know what, though? I had a joke in my act years ago. Where are we at on time?
Oh, we got time.
I had a joke in my act years ago that somebody sent me in Facebook Messenger. Said, "Hey Lou, didn't you used to do this joke?" And here's the joke. This pig's out wandering around a neighborhood. He's standing on the sidewalk just looking around. This guy in a pickup truck drives by and he sees the pig standing there. So the guy gets out, he looks around the pig, he doesn't see anybody around the pig. So he picks up the pig and puts him in the front seat of his truck. So the guy's driving down the road, he's got the pig sitting next to him, pig sitting there, looking around, looking out the windows of the truck. Well, there's a cop up there directing traffic. Well, the cop motions the guy through, and he looks inside, and he sees the pig in the front seat with the guy. He blows his whistle, pulls the guy over. He said, "Hey, buddy, where do you think you're going with that pig?" He said, "Well, I just found him. I was going to take him home." He goes, "Oh, no, you're not." He says, "You take that pig to the zoo right now." He goes, "Yes, officer." So the next day, the same cop's out there directing traffic. Same guy drives by, same truck, still got the pig with him. He blows his whistle, pulls the guy over. He goes, "Hey, I thought I told you to take that pig to the zoo yesterday." He goes, "I did. Today we're going to the beach."
That's a good one.
Isn't that cute?
Hey, I get one of my best buddies.
That's Brooke Shields' joke. Told me that joke.
One of my buddies in law school. He's passed away, but
get a little closer.
He used to be a cop on the Miami-Dade PD, right?
Uh-huh.
And then one time they had a call out, and they call out to the projects, and they had to. They heard there was a wild child. That's how the report came in, but it ended up being
wild child.
A wild child. It ended up being a orangutan.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah, so they ended up having to corner and trap by their own hands a young orangutan. The orangutan's name was Junior. It was actually owned by somebody. So, coming back to the PD, they're going like, what are we going to do? They're like, animal control is like closed. I'm not going to stay on the job until they open up the next morning. They're off at like 2.
Right.
So what they decide to do is they take the orangutan and they threw it into the Orange Bowl. Yeah, real story. But I'll have to tell you the whole thing. The lead
stadium?
is,
they just let it run through the
no,
stadium?
like one guy got them feet and the other guy got the arms, and it was like 1, 2, 3. See you, orangutan. You have a nice home.
And they put him in the orange ball. Oh my God. Just to run rampant.
Right, yeah.
Until animal control came out the next day.
No, they didn't even bother, to get hold of animal control. It was like that. See you, orangutan.
And he still lives there today.
He probably does. He lives to be old,
Out of the corner of your eye. Was that an orangutan?
Yeah, reality is weirder than fiction.
It's true.
But you mentioned the water in Michigan and Detroit, that neck of the woods. It reminds me, growing up, I'd hear the stories about the heavy metals and heavy water and the compounds they would dump into the Donbass, which is a region of the eastern Ukraine. In the Donetsk Basin, but the Russians, the USSR was dumping them all there. This is what communism, did. And they poisoned the water. I mean, kids were drinking heavy metals, and the water still isn't something you want to have to consume there. But we would accuse somebody else of attacking their population, of poisoning their population, and condemning them, and we're doing the exact same thing, and nobody's on it.
Yeah.
Nobody's on it.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
No difference in the two. They just, who's blowing smoke, that's all.
Well, it is those simple things. All these news stories come out and they perplex you and they piss you off because most people are good. I'm really convinced of that. Most people are good. Most people really just kind of want to go through this thing and not hurt anybody and finish in a garden of roses on the other end. I think that's a lot of people's goal. When it comes down to it, I've never seen a hearse with a U-Haul behind it. Obviously, you can't take it with you. And you get to that point of reality, just little victories. My buddy Tom Rhodes.
I'm going to put that into my will. When I die, I want a hearse with a U-Haul. I want the casket in the U-Haul.
Well, you are an organized collector, my friend.
Ah, yes.
You have a collection. My buddy Tom Rhodes, been a road comic all his life. Started at 17 years old. He's in his early 50s now. Been on the road. I don't know a more traveled human being. He finally got a car that gets good gas mileage. He bought a Toyota Camry hybrid that gets 52 miles to the gallon.
Good for him.
So, bon voyage, my friend. And he put up with, I'm a car guy, and he put up with a BMW 5 Series that he bought. And when and BMWs and Mercedes and Audis and Porsches, they're wonderful cars when they're new and under warranty. But they are an albatross to try to keep going as a used car. Same with Land Rovers and Jags, generally. He put up with this BMW. And the thing about BMW, Bavarian manure wagons,
break my window.
Bite my weenie. Yeah. Black man's wheels. Thanks, Al April.
That's funny.
And their parts are proprietary. There are no aftermarket BMW parts. So if you need a part for a BMW, you have to buy it from BMW, and consequently, their price gouging rates are pretty vicious at times. And I remember him spending $3,000 on that BMW for something that would have cost you $800 on a Chevy.
Yep.
So I'm glad he finally he's driving something a little more common now. And those hybrids, amazing technology that we're living with today. In fact, Scott and I were talking before. just in our life, I mean, I'm 60. You're what, 64?
65 next month.
Okay, so 64. I was right.
Yeah.
Okay. The technical advances that we have grown up with.
I mean, 64 and 11 twelfths. You never get over
I just like to be right every once in a
I
while.
know you are. I mean, it's just kind of funny because I'm feeling like a kid again. So I'm like,
You are a kid again.
I'm 64 and a half.
She's 64 and a half. Do they start to count again? But anyway.
Yeah, fractions though, that's the difference.
Yes.
You know, over time you learn fractions. You know?
64 and 8.77 fifths. But like when we were kids, we had black and white television.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody read the newspaper. Cars ran on 6-volt systems.
Yeah.
Cars didn't have air conditioning necessarily. Homes didn't have air conditioning often, even here in Florida.
Yeah.
Central heat and air, none of that stuff. Everything ran on a furnace or oil or coal or fireplaces or whatever. It was all, the wiring in the walls was brutal. I mean, everything, you were constantly dealing and fixing stuff. And now we've got stuff so streamlined and so amazing. We surrendered a lot of our freedom and our ability for this ease because, things just got easier. I mean, who would drive a no air-conditioned stick-shift car anymore? Nobody. But 40 years ago, a lot of people did.
Yeah.
So, but what we're heading into, and this is why we say, do your spiritual work, because you're going to need to be very spiritually fit for the times coming up. The artificial intelligence that they're trying to introduce to us is not your friend. It is a blurring and a bastardization of your human existence to blend the human body with computerized methods and computerized programs, however it is. It's not for us. It's not for your human experience. What it is, it really is you're poisoning yourself. You are blending the profane with the divine. And that's where you're going to need to know who you are spiritually. And that's the long and the short of it. That's the big challenge here. So Mike is a wonderful student and teacher of the Tao. And you've just helped me so much over the years. You really, I mean, not that I ever had a bad temper, but it's even way more tame since I've gotten to know you and watch you. I mean, you're the same way. I mean, you get a little bubbled up, and then you realize who you are and what's going on, and you simmer right back down, which I think is a beautiful. That's a way to do it, man. Because you need passion to make your days worthwhile, but you also need peace to make your days worthwhile.
Right.
So, we're heading into the home stretch here, Commandant.
Yeah.
So.
And you just just being on the negative side. They took my two favorite black the twins, the commentators. They took them,
the Hughes.
Yeah, the Hughes. They took
the Hughes twins.
I read
Hodges.
Hodges. Yeah.
Hodges. They took them off.
Yeah, they got taken off.
All platforms.
I just got a chance to glance at the article, but it was like, who would do that? Who would do that?
They must have been making an impact.
Yeah, and of course they're conservative and they're black, and that's not part of the it's not supposed to be happening.
Yeah, and then on October 1, the Facebook is supposed to be able to freely and openly censor anything it wants.
Yeah, well, which is why see ya.
Yeah, if we gotta go, we gotta go. We are on BitChute. That's BITCHUTE. BitChute. All the shows are loaded up there. And we also do YouTube. Our producer, Kathy McGuire, thank you, dear. Sorry I didn't get to see you the other day. I had people tapping their feet waiting on me, but I hope your errand was successful. And thank you, everybody that's been contributing to the show and my thoughts. of course, Kat Carroll, Yvonne, Deese, thank you so much for shining the light on it. And then there's Susan and Debbie and your friend Fig, Jay Fig.
He's cool. Yeah,
he puts up some cool stuff.
He's really bright. I really like him. He's a cool dude, man. And he's youngster too.
Is he? Good.
Yeah, there's a lot of mileage on that boy left to go. So,
Good.
Yeah,
and our friend Jana, boy, she's got to be full time on that stuff. Jana Melanova.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
and my buddy Karen too. She's knocking them dead.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So, folks, there is interesting information out there. I'm not telling you to go find some obscure channel and believe everything it says. You got to weigh it all out. But if all you're believing is the mainstream media, you're missing a lot of points, man. There's a lot of great information out there. I always recommend the Corbett Report. James Corbett, fantastic reporter, real honest guy, calls them like he sees them, even if he don't like the way he sees it. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm Lou Angel Wolf. That's Mike Merberg. This is the imho.love show. We're here every Wednesday night, 7:30, transmitting from fabulous Area 52. And we wish you a peaceful week. Stay alert. The next couple of months are going to be pretty crazy, I believe. You're going to see some stuff you've never seen before. The more I know about it, I'll tell you about it. I'm not afraid to step out there. I've been, I started picking these fights a long time ago, especially like after 9/11. And there's just more and more information. And that's the other thing, too. If you really believe the government narrative on 9/11, chances are you're not watching our show.
Yeah, we're not going to get along.
Yeah, it's just gonna be an issue.
They don't want you to think, and if you don't want to think, you should be okay with them. Okay?
Yeah.
But they don't want you to think. That's why you have to beware, because mainstream will drown you in BS.
Yes, of course.
They will
drown
you. So.
And are we cooler for picking out the eclectic facts and bringing them to the shore and dusting them off? Maybe here and there. But why not? Why, it's like in my life, when I'm looking for something, like if I go to a store to buy something and the guy tells me, well, this is the one everyone's getting. That's not probably the one I want.
Right.
I want it to do more or less.
Right. Well, when you live the path less chosen,
yes,
that's what you do.
Right.
You get a chance to make a choice, and not follow the pack.
Yeah, it's like guys that ride Ducatis.
It's a 3-month love affair, and they're all up for sale.
I am so tired of this dry clutch. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. We're here every Wednesday night. Thank you, Mark Cottingham, for ever being my sentry. And all of our friends. I'm sorry I miss everybody. Fran and Pam. And just, thank you so much for staying tuned in and feeding me stuff. And Nan, thank you. So next week we'll be back, and something big's we have a CE5 this weekend out here at Area 52. Yep. So we'll be reporting on that. Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. If you are if you'd like to get interested in that, what's the meetup page? I always forget.
Tampa HICE CE5 on Meetup. It's
on Meetup.
Yeah, it's on Meetup. Go to Meetup.
Tampa CE5 HICE, which is Human Initiated Contact Experience.
Yeah. Go on.
And get in touch with Mike, and he'll send you the protocols.
Or you can get me at, I'm starting to use Darby Ranch CE5 at gmail.com.
Darby Ranch CE5 at gmail.com.
Yeah,
Darby DARBYRANCH CE5 at gmail.com.
There you go.
Okay, cool deal. Hey, y'all be good. Like we say every week, use your head, trust your gut, and your heart will take you home. Read The Pacifist Riot if you get a chance. It's on the page. Thanks, everybody, and have a great week.
Peace, y'all. Thanks, Lou.
You're welcome. That was fun.
Yeah, it's always fun.
There's a silver lining in all this stuff. You're an amazing creature.
Yeah. Yeah, the great one is.
All right.
The world is still fascinating, no matter how shitty it gets.
It really is.
You know. How can you be bored in these times too? I mean, holy Christ!
Yeah, really.
Never been this overwhelming with information, or the speed of it, or the ability to access it. So.